Okay, so let's talk about this Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack again. It's been a hot topic for a couple of weeks now, and a lot of that has to do with the reaction to the pricing Nintendo had here. I think if it was like $10 more, that probably would have been as big of a pushback as we've seen. But we're now to the point where Nintendo has reached a big milestone on their channel, and I don't think it's one they were looking to accomplish. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. I'm actually going to be posting more frequently here as we go along. Just had to get some stuff set up here in order to do so. Now let's head over here first to the trailer that everyone's talking about right now. We can see it here, 126,000 dislikes compared to 17,000 likes. If you look at the comments, over 35,000 comments. So yeah, there's quite the conversation going on in Nintendo's comment section there. The thing with this, though, is the video that it beat out for by quite a bit, by about 30,000 dislikes almost, is Metroid Prime Federation Force, the announcement trailer back in E3 2015. That's pretty bad. If you're comparing yourself to Federation Force, which a lot of people will tell you was a low point, maybe even rock bottom for the Metroid franchise. And, well, Metroid's in a much better place now. So, hey, if you had to live through that as a big Metroid fan, you're in a much better place now. Metroid Dread just came out. There's been rumors around a Metroid Prime remake next year, and then Metroid Prime 4 should follow that up, and then who knows, maybe we get another 2D Metroid. It just seems right now Nintendo is just full-on Metroid, which is cool. And it does make me wonder if there was a bit of an about face after the reaction to Federation Force, as, I mean, these games that we're seeing now, like Dread and others, would have gone into development years ago. So yeah, maybe Nintendo saw the reaction. They got Federation Force out there because, well, they already had it ready to go, basically, so why not? But maybe they went back to the drawing board and thought a bit more about what they could do with Metroid Prime, and maybe that's why we're seeing so many articles now pop up. Like Switch Online's expansion pack tier is now Nintendo's most disliked video. This was from VGC, which has been bringing about the conversation, will Nintendo do anything to respond to this? Because clearly they probably got the message. I mean, I think it's hard not to get the message right now that people, for the most part, are expressing their frustration with the value that's being placed with this online service, more so with a library of older titles rather than at least trying to add features to that base service. Now, the biggest thing here, obviously, is Nintendo's going to be looking for the signups. The thing with the 64, the Genesis, the expansion pack tier, it's optional. The online service itself at $20 isn't necessarily optional if you want to play online. Now, if you don't care about online or any of that, yeah, technically you don't have to sign up for it. But if you want to play Mario Kart online, if you want to play Smash Brothers, I know that gets a lot of flack, but still, if you want to play Smash online, third-party games like Monster Hunter Rise, or like basically the best-selling new game on the Switch, Mario Kart's a whole thing, but Animal Crossing, you need the online service that you sign up for $20 a year. So there are times where basically it tells you to sign up if you would like this portion of the game that you've already bought to be enabled. Whereas the online service with this expansion pack, if you don't want the 64 games, if you don't want the Genesis games, and you're not really a big Animal Crossing person to benefit from the DLC and basically signing up for a couple dollars more than what you'd already pay for the DLC, that you're probably just going to walk right past it. And that's going to be the biggest part here. If Nintendo sees signups come in and they're less than anticipated, maybe they will kind of look around and think, all right, what can we do about this? I mean, they've already seemingly planned out at least another 38 Nintendo 64 games that will be coming to the service, or 38, not counting counting the 9, I guess, that we've already had. We think one of them could be GoldenEye. If they announce GoldenEye, that'll be a big enough deal to at least get buzz and headlines saying, wow, Nintendo and Microsoft, they figured it out with, MGM, I guess be the other one. And GoldenEye, an absolute classic, is finally seeing a release on a modern platform. With online play, seemingly, if it goes to the 64 application or if it's just a standard release on a couple platforms, it should have online play. That would do it. But I guess Nintendo could also look into other games. They've already shown us that F-Zero, Majora's Mask, Pokemon Snap, those are big titles as well that would get some buzz. But really, Nintendo just needs to look towards adding features to this service overall. I think that's where the main frustration is. I almost think if the $20 service was at least bearable in the sense that it has the basic features, messaging, for example, voice chat that's native to the system and doesn't require a cell phone. Those kinds of things would probably make this $30 jump for extra content less frustrating because, well, you do at least have a bunch of features that they've already accomplished and put on the platform instead of seemingly being more interested in building out a Netflix-like subscription service. And Nintendo's responded before. I mean, there was the whole thing with the 3DS, obviously, where they had to slash their own salaries. The Wii U sales were so bad, they did that again. Like Satoru Iwata was taking pay cuts because the 3DS wasn't selling, because the Wii U wasn't selling. They had to speak directly to investors over that. And some of that has to do with Nintendo being very transparent around system sales. So it's obvious. They're not as transparent around subscription sales. I've kind of noticed that one. Like, occasionally they'll mention it if asked or pressed about it, but they don't just walk out with their investors briefing and just tell people the number. Maybe they're waiting to get it up higher to a certain point where they can be like, yeah, we got like 20 some odd million signups on this service. It's just free money now that we didn't get before. But it's certainly not what they do with their hardware sales. Although they told us about the pretty bad Wii U sales all the way through, so it's just something to consider here when it comes to these subscription numbers. They're not exactly jumping up and down to show us what they are. My thought here is Nintendo's just going to be extremely stubborn around this, and maybe behind the scenes they'll at least discuss ways to add more value to the platform without leaning too far into what they seem to be absolutely terrified of, which is building out a decent online service. Nintendo just seems so scared of having online interactions for the most part with their user base. I know they try their best to be family friendly for the most part, and they're worried about maybe younger kids finding their way online and talking to other people. That already happens. People play Fortnite on your platform. Don't know what to tell you, Nintendo. So I just feel like if they were able to build out that online service and add more features to it, they wouldn't get as much backlash when they do things like ask for another $30 on top of that pretty pitiful online service just for older games being added to it. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Specifically, if you think Nintendo will respond in a meaningful way in the near future, whether it is building out that the online service that's $20 a year with just basic features, or do you think they just keep plowing ahead with Nintendo 64 games getting dropped everywhere? Maybe they put those 29 N64 games that we know about now coming to the service in 1 year. Just the next year, 64 games are getting dropped everywhere every single month. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.